Nate Thomas. Just a big shout out to you, young man. He just got accepted to Swarthmore College. And I'm just saying, when Nate first came here, he sat on my lap on the steps at the old church. So he kind of grew up. And apparently I got older. All right. So I heard you had a great week last week with Reverend Virginia. Thank you all. Yeah. She sounded amazing. Thanks for welcoming her and for handling things in my absence. All announcements over. It's time to go to Easter, okay? So I want everybody to just pause for a moment and say our affirmation as though it means something to you. There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. Emphasis on good. All right, our daily word today. I bet it's Easter. Here's what it says for today. I am resurrected through the power of the Christ. On this glorious Easter day, I am resurrected and brimming with new life. The stones of defeat and limitation have rolled away. I am free. I am unlimited. Throughout my Lenten journey, I heeded the call from my soul to recognize the stones in my consciousness and awaken to the infinite potential within me. I can now rejoice in the shimmering light of awareness with an open and joyful heart. My faith is strong, and I am ablaze with the radiance of spirit. I welcome eternal, indwelling life into my mind and heart. Hope never dies. Jesus transcended death and demonstrated life is eternal. With a grateful heart, I rise up and I claim new life. I am resurrected through the indwelling Christ. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, and it's a new beginning. I have risen. I am the resurrection and the life. And so it is. I'm going to invite our choir up.
And I really appreciate all of them for their efforts this time around.
So, as you know, I was in Maryland last weekend with Logan and the family, and we had his first birthday, Jeffrey's birthday, not Jeffrey's first, um, and we had the christening, which was on Sunday, and next week I'll share pictures. But then I came back for 24 hours and left for Boston for work. And then I came back, and my husband had us practicing in our house for 2 hours yesterday to make sure I could sing today. So all I know is I had my microphone off, so that was good. I was worried I would make a mistake. All right, I have a great story. Usually I tell two good news stories, but this is a great Easter story, so I want to share this with you. So Jeremy is the young boy's name, 12 years old. He was born with a twisted body and a slow mind. He was still in the second grade at age 12, seemingly unable to learn. His teacher, Doris Miller, became overwhelmed and irritated by his constant squirming in his seat, his drooling, and his grunting sounds. However, Jeremy had moments of clarity where he could communicate as if a spot of light had suddenly penetrated the darkness of his brain. One day, Miss Miller called Jeremy's parents in and told them that he really belonged in a special school for children like him, that he was at least 5 years older than the other children, which seemed unfair to him and to the other children. Jeremy's mom started to cry, but his dad told Miss Miller that there is no special school near where they live, and that it would be a terrible shock for Jeremy if they switched schools because he really liked it there. After they left, Miss Miller sat reflecting upon the conversation, and while she felt badly that their only child had a terminal illness, she also felt the other 18 children deserved her attention, and that it was a waste of time to keep trying to teach Jeremy to read and write, since his illness would take his life. But then feelings of guilt washed over her. She realized that her problem was too small compared to theirs. She prayed for patience, and from that day tried to ignore the blank stares and the noises. Springtime came, and the children talked excitedly about the coming of Easter. Miss Miller talked about the story of Jesus and emphasized the idea of new life springing forward. She gave each of the children a large plastic empty Easter egg and asked them to take the egg home and bring it back the next day with something in it that showed signs of life, new life. She asked if everyone understood, and all but Jeremy responded. Well, Miss Miller got busy that night with preparing for the next day and never had a chance to call Jeremy's parents to tell them about the assignment. The next morning, 19 children came to school laughing and talking as they placed their Easter eggs in the large wicker basket on her desk. And one by one, she opened the eggs. The first was a flower, and the second, a plastic butterfly. And every time Miss Miller picked up an egg, she asked whose egg it was, allowing each student to claim theirs. Then she opened one that was completely empty and thought it must be Jeremy's because he didn't understand the instructions. Not wanting to embarrass him, she set the egg aside, but he spoke up and said, "Miss Miller, aren't you going to talk about my Easter egg?" Flustered, she replied, "But Jeremy, your egg is empty." He looked at her and softly said, "Yes, but Jesus' tomb was empty too." And when she could speak again, Doris asked him, "Do you know why the tomb was empty?" "Oh, yes," he said, "because Jesus was killed and put in there. And then his father raised him up, and that's how Easter started." The recess bell rang, and while the children excitedly ran out to the schoolyard, Doris cried. The cold inside her melted completely away. 3 months later, Jeremy died, and those who paid their respects were surprised to see 19 Easter eggs on top of his casket, all of them empty. Isn't that a beautiful story? Okay, let's take a moment and get ready for meditation.
I am at peace, I am at peace, I am one with the Spirit, I am calm, I am still, I am doing God's will, I am at peace, I am at peace, I am one with the Spirit, and I dwell in the presence of the Lord. I am loved, I am loved, I am one with the Spirit, I am calm, I am still, I am doing God's will, I am loved, I am loved, I am one with the Spirit, and I dwell in the presence of the Lord. And I dwell in the presence of the Lord.
And so I want to invite you now to take a deep breath. Maybe 2 or 3 deep breaths. And just try to take cleansing breaths that allow you to let go of everything going on in your head today. All the things in the busyness of the week. All the time in the world to just be present. Just allowing your body to get totally calm. Letting your mind get quieter and quieter. Focusing only on your heartbeat, both the rhythm and the sound. Grateful for the life of that continued heartbeat. And just let the words I'm going to share today brush over your heart, taking in what is right for you in this moment, letting go of the rest. Easter is a message of hope. It is our spiritual resurrection and a chance for new beginnings. Today is the beginning of an opportunity to transform my thoughts, to change my mind, to take new action, and to create new meaning and purpose for my life. In the Easter experience lies the opportunity for me to shine a new light on my faith. Maybe it's time for me to focus more on my faith. Placing God at the head of my life and in my heart. Through opening my heart to my divine connection with the most powerful energy in the universe, I renew my thoughts and let go of all my old expectations. Expectations of others, expectations of myself. And I stop being disappointed in the world. Easter is a chance for me to let go of everything I believed my life should be, and instead rest assured that the life that awaits me is better than any plans I might have for myself. But I have to get out of my own way, let go of any resistance, and reflect upon the possibilities that exist for my highest good. Easter is a time for forgiveness. It is a chance to let go of anger and resentment that has held me back. As I imagine letting go of all the hurts that have been internalized, I can feel the freedom. I feel lighter inside. My mind is clear. And I know I can spread my wings and soar to new heights. Limiting thoughts and beliefs no longer serve me. And I feel renewed. As I move towards a more peaceful existence, I can rest and reflect on the gifts life will offer me. And I trust that I will be guided to what is best for my life. With that thought, I reflect and enter the silence, allowing what is mine to come forth. I am one with the Spirit of God, which shines brightly on my life. With my mind and heart centered in peace, I gently return to this moment in time, trusting that all will be revealed when my heart is open. And I am at peace. Today is Easter Sunday, one of the most powerful spiritual opportunities we have each year to transform our lives. But we can only do that through understanding what the resurrection actually meant. Otherwise, it's just one day every year, and it doesn't help us throughout the year. 2.4 billion people will celebrate this day. But my question to us today is how many of those people will be transformed because they understood what this day meant? While the biblical message of Easter surrounds the death and resurrection of Jesus, we can actually use the gifts of the Easter message. So, just like Jesus spent 40 days before entering Jerusalem, we spent 40 days working on releasing and letting go here. We spent the whole Lent season working on things like understanding the impact of holding on to anger, anxiety, bitterness, blame, busyness, complaining, criticism. We learned about non-resistance, detachment, complete surrender and letting go of all of our fears. And we learned the importance of denying the power of our burdens, letting go of limitation and negative thinking and self-pity, shame, tired old beliefs. So today, as we focus on the resurrection, our goal is to think about that spirit of hope and try to reignite that unwavering faith. So let's just walk through a couple of highlights of what actually happened that day, that weekend. So first, the week before, as I said, Jesus rode into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday. He has a celebratory dinner with his 12 disciples. The day after following the meeting, a council of priests and elders arrest him because they were threatened by him coming into Jerusalem and teaching what didn't sound familiar. And all the followers that he had was making Pontius Pilate nervous. So he's taken before Pontius Pilate, and he's pressured, Pontius Pilate is pressured to kill what everyone is referring to as the King of the Jews, and crucify him in front of his followers so that they get the message. That celebratory meal ended up being known as the Last Supper. Now just imagine, if you will, how you might have felt observing all of this and knowing you couldn't do anything about it. Watching people you care about suffer. We've all been there. Jesus' suffering ended on Good Friday, and no amount of crying or grief was going to change the outcome. People were dealing with sudden loss, a grim future, and hopelessness after all the hope that had been instilled in them. On Saturday, Jesus' body is put into a tomb. A boulder's put in front of the door. But when people go to see him, he's not there. So Jesus figures in spirit that if he shows up to the people who know him, that they'll believe that he's been resurrected. So he only shows up to 3 people: Mary Magdalene, Mary, mother of James, and of course, the apostles that were there. And he says to them, I am the resurrection and the life. But let's remember, that's what he said at the Sermon on the Mount. So this would be something that would be familiar to them. And he figured if it resonated with them, then they would believe him. But suddenly, everything that was so dark changed in a moment. And people were hopeful again. Hope that even in the face of tragedy, when circumstances seem unbearable, that positive outcomes could occur and life would be resurrected. Now, how many of us have faced tragedy or circumstances in our life that have seemed unbearable and felt like they were never going to stop hurting? Anyone not been there yet? Okay, so we all know what it feels like, right? To feel completely hopeless, and then there's the light. Something changes, something shifts. But the key thing to remember is that we're proof that life can be resurrected again. That is what I want us to remember today. But that resurrection is only possible through transformation, and that is a personal journey we take. It has nothing to do with this particular day. Hope was lost, hope was renewed in a matter of 3 horrific days. And spiritual resurrection was the result. But Christianity became a powerful and meaningful path, not because Jesus died, because there was hope that there was life beyond. That's what started it all. And if he had not made that statement and had not shown up, there wouldn't be any Christianity. We'd just be reading history about someone who died. Spiritual resurrection is about emerging from our darkest days by trusting that the road ahead will eventually become clearer. Now, the biblical version of spiritual resurrection or renewal refers to it as a cleansing of ourselves that allows us to transform our thinking. But we can use the story beyond that if we understand 2 key words. What does it mean to be crucified? What does crucifixion symbolize? And what does resurrection symbolize? So crucifixion can be viewed as the spiritual practice of crossing out and releasing error in thinking of ourselves as separate from God. That is the most important thing. If you hear nothing else I say today, I hope you remember that. It can't be any separation between us and God except in our thinking, because we are of God. We're all of that divine energy. We are all a part of that golden thread. We are all connected to one another, which is why the world can only improve when we get our part right. We can't keep wishing everybody else would fix themselves. We have to fix ourselves. Crossing out and releasing error thinking includes eliminating all these old patterns of behavior that we have that are destructive to us and to other people. All the thoughts of negativity that wear us down. Resurrection can be viewed as the spiritual practice of rising up and receiving the truth that empowers our best and highest good and works on solidifying our connection to our higher power. Now, during the 1912 Easter sermon that Charles Fillmore gave, and Charles Fillmore, for those of you who may not know, was co-founder of Unity, but he explained that we overcome our challenges first by overcoming the idea in our mind and the conditions we've built up around those ideas. You know how we're always creating our version of truth and then supporting it and putting it out in the universe as though that is truth? You know, this can never change, that can never be fixed, I'll always be poor, I don't know what to do with my money, I don't have any friends, I have too many friends, all that stuff. All of that stuff that goes on in our mind is nothing but mind chatter. And it doesn't bring us any good. Who wronged us? Who let us down? But he went on to say that resurrection is the lifting of each of us into that powerful Christ consciousness through our own efforts to first lift the faculties of our mind to conform with divine thinking, not our version of thought. To renew our thoughts in ways that help us transform our bodies to function in divine order. We are meant to be healthy. We are meant to be happy. We are meant to be whole. And yes, we're going to have interruptions in our life. But are we going to rise above those challenges based on truth or our version of truth? That is the question. He said we can also change our daily practices to align with spiritual law. So what does that exactly mean? First, it's the importance of consistently walking through life in faith, not just when it becomes too difficult to bear. So how many moments in every day is your faith solidified that all will be well and that you will be led to do the right thing at the right time in the right moment? That faith has to be grounded to where life's circumstances can never shake us. And that faith requires daily communion with God, affirming and receiving, affirming all is well and being open to receiving our good. The second thing is living as spiritual beings. And that means where love becomes more important than fear, and contentment and peace overcome want and discontentment. And last is expressing gratitude, which must replace expressions of lack. Nothing will come to us if we are constantly saying it's not enough. Charles Fillmore said, every time we rise to the realization of eternal indwelling life, making union with the divine, the resurrection of Jesus takes place within us. All thoughts of limitation and inevitable attachment to material law are left in the tomb of materiality. Embracing Easter and our own spiritual resurrection should continue for the next 50 days. And this next 50-day period is called Eastertide. And Eastertide is intended to make sure that we begin recognizing everything around us that is currently being restored, both in nature, in life, in our lives, and other people's lives. You can see it in the trees and the plants and the flowers already. That's the resurrection of life. But it's also important to remember that we do not get to schedule our spiritual awakening. It's something you have to be open to, and it happens in the right time, not in our time. Those changes will only occur in our life when we are ready. And this is why it's so important to solidify our understanding while we can. Easter is a perfect reminder that while life can be challenging, the painful parts of our life stories are only a piece of what matters over our lifetime. The greater gift in each challenge we face is how do we rise up and overcome what we face by allowing our divinity to rise within us. And we can choose to embrace the season and open our hearts and be ready for new beginnings, or we could keep going on the way we normally do and just pretend this is just another day. We can step forward in faith and choose to release whatever is holding us back, and we can allow ourselves to be open and receive the blessings that await us. Those steps will allow our divinity to unfold, and the transformation that Christ consciousness will appear within us. And we will be mindful every moment of what we're saying and doing and how we affect other people. And that's when peace and joy will prevail. Let's review today's lessons. So I rise in you as a reminder of how the Christ consciousness can change our lives if we're willing to first recognize the gifts of every challenge, reset, renew, and transform every day. You have a bad day, reset, start again. It's okay. Let it go. Leave it behind. Number 2, acknowledge the I am power within us. Pray and meditate, but listen for guidance and act on that guidance. Number 3 is to walk through life in faith. Faith in God has to be unshakable. And number 4, place God first every day. There is no separation except in our thoughts. And just like Jesus told us, and just like Charles Fillmore said, we should say this affirmation until it is so natural we believe it. Let's say this together. I am the resurrection and the life. I want you to practice that for the next 50 days. Don't forget it. Charles Fillmore quote, I love this one. Christ within me is the resurrection and the life. Christ within me is the power that enables me to rise triumphant out of every trial. Let's take a moment and just reflect. So we pause to recognize that this day, this Easter Sunday, is an opportunity for us to resurrect our lives, to transform our thinking, to open our hearts to new blessings, and to be the divine spirits we were meant to be, bringing our good to the world and helping others do the same. We express our gratitude for all the faculties of our consciousness, all the power bestowed upon us, and the ability and freedom we have to do anything in any moment. And for all of the good that awaits us, we say thank you, God. Amen. If you have special prayer needs, please fill out the prayer card in the back of the seat in front of you, or there are prayer cards when you walk out, and you can put them, your prayers in the box. And then on Mondays, I send a list out to all of our chaplains, and we all pray on those prayers all week long. Also, we are abundantly blessed here. We do not pass a plate here. I remind us all the time, new people need to know we don't pass a plate. If you feel some urge to help support this mission and effort, and you enjoyed yourself today, great. But there's a box in the back. We have our Breeze app, and you can go online. But we thank everyone for all the contributions of their time, their talent, and their treasures. And I would just like us to join together in saying our affirmation. We have faith in God as our instant, constant, abundant supply and supplier. We have faith in God to open ways when to the human sense there is no way. We have faith in God to guide us in all our ways, and our health, happiness, and prosperity are assured. Thank you, God, for your abundant good now flowing forth to meet our every need. And so it is. And can we have our kids come up
Of course.
first? Do you mind?
It occurred to me that the choir was in our kids' seats.
Yes.
So I decided we'd get them up.
Thank you. Thank you, Elliot.
Feeling good, like I should. Went and took a walk around my neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. I got the sunshine on my Sunday best. Ooh.
Good morning. Happy Easter. We had a lot of fun hunting for eggs in the drizzle. earlier this morning. And then we did some coloring and read about discovering how we can have new life and finding those moments when we can turn situations that are not so favorable into brand new situations. And we planted some new flower seeds. So over the next few weeks, we'll hopefully start to see those come up.
And Heather, before you walk away, I just want everyone to give her a hand for all the work she did for today. We appreciate you. Thank you. And Mia, thank you.
Dead of winter's over and gone. A brand new day is finally dawn. Born anew. The icy cold and the bitter gloom. And now tiny buds about to bloom. They will rise in you. You are my light. You are my joy, my strength. I rise in you, my hope, my love, my peace, rise in you.
Let everything upon this earth participate in this rebirth and be born anew. Let every heart be lifted higher. Let every soul now be inspired to rise anew. My life, you are my life. You are my joy, my strength. I rise in you, my hope, my love, my peace. I rise in you.
You are the thought that lifts the eagle's wings. You are the power that makes my heart sing. You are the power that turns an acorn to a tree. You are the power working miracles in me. I rise in you. I rise in you. Ooh, yeah. Hey, hey. We rise. Here we go. Hey. My life, my joy. You are my strength. You are the strength. I rise in you. My hope, my love, my peace. Rise in you. You are my joy, my strength. You are my strength. Rise in you. I rise in you. My hope. You are my hope. My love. You are my love. My peace. I rise in you. The Unity of Tampa Choir right here. Thanks to my team. Again, Michael Hilson here on the piano. Alban Griffin here on the drums. Our crew in the back of the sound booth, David and Duncan in the sound booth. And thank you. My name's Elliot Dickinson. All right. Now, any of these people, yeah, and Amy Major as well, your soloist. Tanya McEwen for accompanying us on the other piece. I want to thank all these folks in the choir. Give them one more round of applause.
I didn't know you were singing with us.
They're very patient. You know, I'll tell you what, I come up with a plan for these guys and I throw it at them and they just go, okay.
Well, you're a
So-
good leader. We trust you. We rise in you.
Thanks so much. Now let's all rise. We're going to stand and sing our peace song. I'll close the service with the prayer for protection.
Here, you can stay up here if you want. Yeah.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
All right, let's join together in saying the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is great. Happy Easter. Thank you for being here today. Join us for cake if you feel like it. And God bless you.
Hey, good job, guys. Awesome job, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I feel good, yeah. I knew that I would. I feel good. So much, brother. So good. I got you. I feel nice. Like sugar and spice. I feel nice. Like sugar and spice. So nice. So nice. I got you. Oh, take it to the bridge. Ooh, yeah. When I hold you in my arms. May not say my love won't do you no harm, and I feel yeah good. I knew that I would. I feel good. I knew that I would. So good, so good. I got you. Ooh. I feel good. I knew that I would. I feel good. I knew that I would. So good, so good. I got you. Take it to the bridge. Ooh, yeah. When I hold you in my arms, your love won't do me no harm. When I hold you in my arms, your love won't do me no harm, and I feel nice, yeah, like fast. So nice, so nice. I got you. So good, so good. I got you. Ooh, yeah. So nice, so nice. I got you. Woo, yeah, yeah, yeah.